Hey guys, how's it going? In last week's video I built this router lift. And if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link in the description. But this week here, I want to mount it right about here in my miter saw station. So let's get started.
Just a little side note about the lift, I did decide to put a lock on. As you can see, a bolt goes right through the sliding block, and then I put a slit up and down the back support so I could tighten things up with the knob. Alright, so I think I'll start this project out by building a template right here at the X-carve. That way there I can just stick this template to my router table and then use a pattern bit to get a perfect circle. Now, the insert plates, I'm using this clear plastic material I've had kicking around forever. I think it's acrylic, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, I think it will work really good for an insert plate. It's about 3/8 of an inch thick, and I'm going to make 3 of them just so I can use different size openings depending on what bit I'm using. So as you can see, my insert plate fits real nice and snug inside my template. So the first thing I'll do is trace out a circle a 1/2 inch smaller than my template, and I'll just cut that right out with the jigsaw. So to set the depth of the patterning bit, all I'm going to do is set my template right on top of the router, and then I'll grab my acrylic insert plate and make sure that it's flush with the bottom. What that will do is give me a recess the exact thickness of the insert plate, which is really important. Then I just take the template and I'll 2-side tape it down to my table. And because I cut that hole a 1/2 inch smaller than my template, it's going to give me a nice 1/4 inch recess all the way around for my insert plate to sit on. Now to hold it there, what I'm going to do is take a Forstner bit and drill a hole right in between the table and the insert plate. And then that way there, I can take a screw which will be recessed below the table, and it should hold that insert plate right in place.
Alright, so I'm just underneath my table there now, and I got my router lift here, and I got the cone what comes with my router for centering basically the router to the fixed base or whatever. I'm going to use it to center right in the center of my insert. So I'm just going to hold it up there in place and drive a couple screws in.
So now that the router is actually mounted to the table, I can go ahead and check for square. And in this first direction I was bang on, but in this other direction I was off a little bit. But luckily there was enough room in the bolt holes of the clamps, I could just adjust it there. But then I was a little bit worried that they could possibly move while routing, so I went ahead and attached a little block on the bottom side of the clamps, and hopefully that will keep anything from moving in the future. Next I went ahead and drilled a 5/8 hole right through the front of my workbench, and that's going to give me an access point to adjust the router up and down. Now I bought one of these extensions. It wasn't expensive, it was actually under 10 bucks I think. It's got a quick connect end so you can just slip it on, and then as you see it's pretty loose in the hole, so what I decided to do is take one of these coupling nuts. I bored it at the same size as the diameter of the extension, and then just kind of ground a taper in it so it'll be able to lock into the hole I drilled. And the reason why I did it that way is because I want to be able to take this thing back out when I'm not in use, because it kind of sticks out a little far. So whenever I'm not using the router, I'll be able to just unhook the quick connect and slide everything out. Alright, so for my fence, the base portion is going to be 8 inches wide and the vertical portion is going to be 4 inches high, and the overall length will be about 30 inches. Now I just laid out the design I liked and took it over to the table saw and cut all the straight portions I could. Now on the base, the reason why I made it 8 inches wide is because I'm going to put 2 slots in that, and that's what's going to give me my travel or my distance between the bit and the fence. Now I mainly just do edge routing, I don't do anything fancy with the router, so I'll have an overall travel on my fence of about 5 inches, which should be plenty for me. Now to mill all the slots that I need, all I did is kind of just clamped it into the X-carve and manually pushed it back and forth. I found this is the quickest way. You kind of just use the X-carve as a guide or a straight edge to move the router back and forth on. So there's quite a few slots to mill. I got 2 here in the base part of the fence, and that's what's going to give me my travel. And then I also have to put 4 slots into the vertical part of my fence because I want to have adjustable face plates that I can move in and out and give me kind of like a zero clearance to the bit. This should help with dust collection. Assembly of the fence is real simple, just a little bit of glue, and then I'll use a single clamp in the center to hold it while I put a few screws through it. Now I did add 4 blocks all the way along the length to help keep everything nice and square, and again just a little bit of glue and screw to hold everything. So for the movable faceplate, I'm just using 1/2 inch MDF, and I marked the holes using a 1/4 inch drill bit, which is the same size as the slots. Then I went ahead and drilled a hole just a little bit of underside to a 1/4 inch bolt so that they would just thread right in and countersink, and then a couple wing nuts so I can easily adjust that whenever I need to. Now that's pretty well it for the fence. It's just a matter of mounting it. I just drill a couple holes here, and I'll use a couple lag bolts from down below. So setup's pretty simple. You just slide your extension through the hole until it clicks into your 90-degree drill attachment, and then push that bushing until it's nice and snug. Then you can just raise your bit up to the height you need, and then lock it down below. Then you can just push your fence in line with your bit, and you can use a straight edge to help you with that, and then lock your fence down. Then you can go ahead and try it out. Now as you can see, I added a dust port there, and I just used another piece of that acrylic on the top so you can kind of see what's going on, make sure no dust is getting plugged up in there. So all in all, I'm really happy on how this project turned out, and if you like this project, please hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate that, and until next time, I'm Ryan Nodwell. Thanks for watching.